She wasn't as angry with him as before, mostly because she suspected that he had been caught up in the reputation of the Wanshi Guild. After all, she had noticed that Jin Shin and Wang Jinghao didn't seem familiar with each other. Deciding to give him one more chance, she nodded slightly, willing to hear him out. I have top-secret information, Jin Shin said, his voice lowering conspiratorially. Information that could give your guild a serious edge over other players. But it'll cost you 500,000. The lady crossed her arms, skepticism written all over her face. And why didn't you sell this important information to Wang Jinghao earlier? He was practically begging to support you. Wouldn't it have been more beneficial to sell it to him? Jinshin smirked, confidence oozing from him. Wang Jinghao isn't worthy of supporting me. I was just playing along to get rid of him. He's a nobody, no power, no real money. I've got no choice but to endure him to survive for now. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, Jinshin thought to himself. Since she clearly hates Wang Jinghao, maybe there's a chance we could work together. The lady eyed him cautiously, still skeptical. His attitude toward Wang Jinghao changed a little too quickly, she thought. So, do you want the information or not? Jinshin pressed. He flashed his account number on his screen. Once you pay, I'll give you everything. I'm no scammer. She hesitated, weighing her options. What if he's telling the truth? If this information is real, it'd be a missed opportunity. After a brief pause, she decided to take the gamble. With a tap, she transferred the money to his account. Jinshin grinned, inwardly celebrating. $1 million already, and I've just started the game. Perfect. While money will become useless once the game merges with reality, it's crucial for building my future for now. Once the payment went through, Jinshin leaned in, lowering his voice. Stop killing the wild boars. Go back and accept a mission from the blacksmith. The lady's eyes widened in outrage. Are you kidding me? You're trying to scam me. Everyone knows the blacksmith doesn't give missions. Her hand moved toward her weapon, thoughts racing. Could he be working with Wang Jinghao? Was this whole thing a setup? Anger flared, and her mind was made up. She'd make sure Jinshin didn't leave the wild boar forest alive. Just as the lady was about to unsheath her sword in anger, Jinshin quickly intervened. Wait, the reason you haven't gotten a mission from the blacksmith is because you're doing it wrong. She hesitated, still gripping her sword, eyeing him suspiciously. Jinshin continued calmly. To get a mission from the blacksmith, you have to help him blow his bellows for 5 minutes while he's working. Only then will he offer you the mission. If you're still unsure about the information, let one of your subordinates try it. But do it discreetly. If too many people find out, the information becomes worthless. The lady remained silent, processing his words. Jinshin leaned in slightly, lowering his voice. And the mission? That's not the important part. It's the reward that matters. The Sword Sect invitation. The lady's eyes widened, recognizing the significance. Jinshin smiled. Once you have the invitation, you'll know where the Sword Sect is, and that's your ticket to joining them. I said what I needed to. Whether you act on it or not, that's up to you. As Jinshin turned to leave, the lady called after him. Wait, why sell this information to me? Why not keep it for yourself? Jinshin chuckled and, without missing a beat, replied, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're quite sexy. For a brief moment, the lady was caught off guard, her cheeks reddening ever so slightly. But the flirtatious moment was cut short when her group members came sprinting towards them, panic clear on their faces. We're screwed, one of the girls shouted. We accidentally bumped into the boss. The lady's eyes widened as she saw the massive wild boar charging towards them, far larger than the others they had encountered. Retreat, she commanded. We don't have enough people to take down a boss like that. But before they could scatter, Jinshin stepped forward, a confident grin on his face. Your luck's actually pretty good, running into the biggest boss in the beginner's village. Since you're all backing down, I'll take it on myself. Everyone was stunned by his boldness. You're gonna fight the Wild Boar King alone? One of the girls asked in disbelief. Jinshin casually turned back toward the lady. Mind if I borrow your sword? Sold my bow, remember? Without hesitation, she tossed her sword to him. Do whatever you want, but I'm not helping you. If you're that eager to die, it's on you. Jinshin caught the sword with a smirk. Thanks. One of the girls sighed, clearly concerned. He's just throwing his life away. Another added, maybe he's trying to impress our leader. Thinks he can hit on her by showing off. The lady, now blushing, snapped at her. Shut up before I beat you. At the same time, Jinshin was locked in a fierce battle with the Wild Boar King. He quickly realized he was in trouble. The sword he borrowed wasn't strong enough. If only he had held on to the bow a little longer, this fight would have been over by now. No matter how many times he struck the boar, its HP barely dropped. Even when he aimed for its weak points, the damage was minimal. Frustrated, Jin Shun changed his approach. No point in fighting this thing head-on, he thought, eyes narrowing. He knew it was time to use his brains instead of brute force. With a smirk, he turned and sprinted away. The girls watching from a distance assumed he had given up. One of them chuckled. "Look at him run. It's kind of cute, but he's not getting away. No chance." The lady sighed, shaking her head. No one asked him to show off in the first place. But he's still a beginner. It's fine if he dies a few times. Maybe it'll teach him to stop bragging. Meanwhile, Jinshin was nearly at a dead end, a wall rising up in front of him. But just as the boar charged toward him, he performed a wall tap, using the momentum to leap out of the way. The Wild Boar King slammed headfirst into the wall, taking heavy damage from both the impact and the rocks that tumbled down on top of it. The girls gasped in shock. Did he just make the boar hurt itself? One of them muttered in disbelief. Jinshin saw his chance. The boar was severely weakened, panting heavily, and barely able to stand. Without wasting a second, he dashed forward, landing multiple critical strikes on its battered body. The boar, enraged, launched a final, desperate charge at him. Jinshin was caught off guard, not expecting it to still have any fight left. But his reflexes kicked in. He dodged the attack at the last second and countered with a swift strike to its horn, shattering it and dropping the boar's HP even further. Realizing this was the moment to finish things, Jinshin leaped onto the boar's back. Channeling all his strength, he filled his sword with chi and drove it straight into the creature's skull. With a final roar, the Wild Boar King collapsed. A notification flashed before Jinshin's eyes. Cultivation level increased to 7. Chi refining stage. He grinned in satisfaction. Reaching the chi refining stage meant he had officially become a cultivator. But there was more. Another notification appeared. Fate-altering talent activated. Innate talent against Heaven's Law has doubled your attributes. Jinshin's heart raced. His gamble had paid off. His cultivation had skyrocketed far faster than he expected. And it was all thanks to his luck and running into the Wild Boar King. But then, another message appeared. Fate-altering talent activated. New random talent granted by Born Against Heaven's Will. Jinshin's eyes widened as the notification flashed in front of him. Random talent confirmed. Seed of Vitality granted. Vitality increased by 10%. Can be upgraded 3 times. His heart raced with excitement. This was the perfect reward for someone like him, fragile in the early stages of cultivation. While his attributes had already doubled thanks to his talent, the added boost in vitality was like a lifeline. Most cultivators at the chi refining stage only had around 10,000 HP. Now, Jinshin had 20,000. Another notification popped up. Congratulations! You are the first player to kill a boss in the beginner's village in 8 wastelands. Would you like to hide your name? Jinshin smirked. No reason to hide, he replied confidently. In an instant, his achievement was broadcasted to every player in the game. Lin Jinshin has slain the first boss in the beginner's village. Reward, 200 reputation points and 1 point of innate luck. Players across the game were stunned. Someone already killed the boss? The game just started. Guilds began speculating. Some thought Jinshin belonged to a major guild and had used a human wave strategy to overwhelm the boss, with him landing the final hit. Others believed he was just incredibly skilled. Meanwhile, the lady couldn't believe her eyes. He actually did it. He really killed the boar by himself? Jinshin's rewards started rolling in. Spiritual grade Crimson Cloud Sword, Spiritual grade Illuminating Staff, and a Spiritual grade technique, Shadow Step. He had expected good drops thanks to his max luck, but this was beyond even his expectations. Suddenly, the sky darkened and thunder rumbled ominously. A new notification appeared. Heavenly Tribulation will descend in 30 minutes. Please prepare and proceed with caution. Jinshin froze. He instantly remembered the side effect of his Alter Fate talent. Whenever he broke through a stage, a Heavenly Tribulation would be summoned. If he failed to survive it, his soul would be erased from existence. Damn it, I knew this was coming, he muttered under his breath. There was no time to waste. He had to find a powerful expert, someone who could help him survive the tribulation. Just as he was about to make a run for it, the lady approached him again. Wait, can we be friends? She asked, her tone much softer than before. I'd like to buy any equipment you find in the future. I'll offer you a fair price, I promise. Jinshin quickly flashed his ID to the lady. Add me, he said with a grin before dashing off. I've got something urgent to take care of. The lady blinked, stunned at his sudden exit. What's so urgent that he's running like his life depends on it? She wondered aloud. Does he think we're scarier than the Wild Boar King? Meanwhile, Jin Shun sprinted non-stop, his heart racing as fast as his legs. He finally arrived at the entrance of the sect, panting heavily. His thoughts were frantic. Please let there be an expert here. Someone who can help me survive this tribulation. Without hesitation, he shouted, Disciple Lin Jinshun is here to seek a master. One of the sect disciples raised an eyebrow, puzzled by Jin Shun's frantic pace. What's he running from? Looks like he's rushing to be reincarnated. Suddenly, the sky darkened, clouds swirled, and thunder cracked ominously overhead. The sect disciples glanced up, their expressions shifting from confusion to alarm. Moments ago, the sky had been clear. The sect leader, a commanding figure with an enchanting aura, arrived on the scene. Her very presence seemed to demand respect, and even the most stoic disciple felt a shiver. What's causing this disturbance? She asked, her voice calm but authoritative. The disciples greeted her with bowed heads. Sect leader, the sky changed without warning, one of them explained. The sect leader's eyes narrowed. This is a heavenly tribulation, she said. Which disciple or elder is attempting a breakthrough? Everyone shook their heads. No one knew. Suddenly, Jin Shun's desperate voice echoed through the courtyard. Please, great masters, save me, he shouted, stumbling forward. The lightning above crackled ominously, fully charged and ready to strike. Jin Shun, trembling, thrust the sect leader's letter forward, praying for a miracle. He knew his current abilities were nowhere near enough to survive the heavenly tribulation. The sect leader's eyes widened. A heavenly tribulation? At the chi refining stage? This was unheard of. Just as the first bolt of lightning was about to strike Jinshin, the sect leader raised her hand, forming a powerful protective barrier around him. The lightning struck the barrier, dispersing harmlessly into the sky. The weather returned to normal in an instant, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. Jinshin exhaled in relief, his legs shaking from the adrenaline. Saved. If I had died, I would have had to restart the game, missing so many crucial opportunities. The elders, who had gathered around, looked at Jinshin with awe. Someone at the chi refining stage summoned a heavenly tribulation? Impossible, one elder exclaimed. This is the first time we've witnessed something like this, another elder murmured. He must be extraordinary. Elder Chiyue, a powerful figure with a piercing gaze, stepped forward, sizing Jinshin up. A genius like this, if he were to become an elder in the future, his master would gain immense prestige. Without hesitation, Elder Chiyue was the first to make her offer. Lin Jinshun, she said, her voice carrying both warmth and authority, become my disciple, and I promise to provide you with all the resources you need to cultivate. You will lack for nothing. Elder Qingsong stepped forward, a smirk on his face. Elder Chiyue, you're a female cultivator. It's not convenient for you to teach a male disciple. Let me handle him. It's more suitable for me. Elder Chiyue's eyes narrowed, her tone sharp. Qingsong, you've already got plenty of disciples. Why are you trying to snatch this one from me? Her voice dripped with irritation. The tension between the two elders was palpable, and the other disciples watched, eager to see what would happen next. Meanwhile, Jinshan could hardly contain his excitement. Just as I thought, joining a sect is the best move. Not only can they help me with the tribulation, but now I've got multiple elders fighting to accept me as their disciple. I've really struck gold here. Despite his internal thrill, he reminded himself to play it cool. I can't seem too eager. Gotta maintain the right impression. Before either Elder Chiyue or Qingsong could argue further, the sect leader, Long Fei Yin, raised her hand. Enough. The two elders fell silent immediately, stunned by the command in her voice. The sect leader's gaze swept across them before she spoke again. I will accept Lin Jinshin as my direct disciple. A ripple of shock went through the gathered elders and disciples. The sect leader herself? She never takes on disciples. They exchanged glances, realizing just how exceptional Jinshin must be. Jinshun's heart skipped a beat as he heard her words. The sect leader wants me as her disciple? Long Fei Yin turned to Jinshun, her expression as cold as ever. Lin Jinshin, do you accept to become my direct disciple and cultivate within the inner hall? At that moment, Jinshun received a system notification. You have triggered the greatest opportunity within Tunnan Sect. Accept Long Fei Yin as your master? The choice was obvious. Without hesitation, Jinshin knelt down, bowing deeply. I accept you as my master, sect leader. A satisfied nod from Long Fei Yin followed. Very well. She then gestured for Jinshin to follow her, and as they walked together towards the inner hall, Jinshin couldn't help but marvel at her cold yet graceful demeanor. The Sword Palace is the core of Tianyin's sect, she explained as they approached. It's peaceful here, free from distractions. This is where you will cultivate from now on. Her voice remained distant, but her words were clear and precise. Jinshin nodded, absorbing every word. quiet and away from the chaos. This is perfect. You will receive a newcomer package soon. A disciple will show you to your residence, she continued, her tone all business. Meet me at dawn in the main hall tomorrow. Don't be late. With that, she turned and began walking away. Jinshin watched her go, thoughts swirling in his head. She's cold and distant. Definitely not someone who gets close to her disciples. I need to be careful around her. He knew he had to tread carefully and not draw unnecessary attention. As he stood there, he made a quiet resolution. I'll lay low, train hard, and grow stronger in secret. 1 hour later, Jinshin sat outside, growing impatient. The guiding disciple who was supposed to show him to his dorm hadn't arrived. He decided to explore the inner hall himself. The place was sprawling, with countless residences. There might be hidden missions or surprises here. He hesitated before opening the first door. To his shock, he found himself staring at his sect leader, Lung Fiyin, in a bath completely naked. This is her room? He immediately averted his gaze. Apologies, sect leader, he stammered. Fiyin, unamused, struck him down. Who gave you permission to enter my residence? Jinshin quickly explained that he had accidentally entered while searching for his dorm. I didn't mean to intrude. The guiding disciple never showed up. I hope this doesn't affect your view of me. Fiyin, seeing his genuine mistake, decided not to punish him but warned, do not enter a residence without permission again. There won't be a next time. She handed him a pill, the mystical grade violet jade pill. This will help with your injuries. It increases your combat attributes by 30 points for 5 minutes and recovers 3,000 stamina outside of combat. Jinshin was taken aback by the sect leader's generosity. A spirit-grade pill. He pocketed it, deciding to save it for later. As he left the room, he thanked Fiyin and was greeted by Nan Gongyue, the guiding disciple, who had finally arrived. Junior brother, come meet your senior sister. Jinshin greeted her respectfully. She's the first person I've met in the sect, so she's automatically a senior. Nan Gongyue was pleased with his politeness, her favorability towards him rising to 10, casual. Gongyue introduced herself, saying she was at the final phase of the crystallization stage and offered her help for any future problems. Jinshin thought to himself, her favorability went up quickly. 8 Wastelands really does reward good looks. He complimented her. I didn't expect someone as beautiful as you to be so highly skilled. I'm truly impressed. Gongyue blushed. I didn't think you'd be such a flatterer. Jinshin added with a grin. There's an old saying. To improve your cultivation, you need more than just hard work. Sometimes, a little flattery can go a long way. Gongyue chuckled, her favorability increasing by another 5 points, bringing it to 15, still casual. Jinshin noted, it's easier to get along with Gongyue compared to my icy master. He pondered the favorability system. 1 to 10, familiar. 11 to 20, casual. 21 to 30, companion. 31 to 40, close. 41 to 50, shared hearts. 51 to 60, intimate relationship. 61 to 70, congenial love. 71 to 80, perfect unison. 81 to 90, sworn everlasting love. 91 to 100, until death do us part. Different favorability levels unlock hidden missions and opportunities. As Jinshin walked alongside Gongyue, he thought about how favorability with NPCs could lead to physical interactions, or even a Dao couple status at perfect unison, which unlocks dual cultivation. That's a lot of potential, but it's tough to build favorability. In my previous life, many players who got too involved with NPCs ended up in trouble. Suddenly, he started coughing up blood. Gongyue noticed and asked, "What's wrong? When did you get hurt?" Jinshin thought quickly. I need to use the pill the sect leader gave me to heal, but I also see an opportunity here. He wiped the blood from his mouth and said, "It's nothing serious. Before you arrived, I accidentally stumbled into the sect leader's residence and got a minor injury." Gongyue looked distressed. "I'm so sorry. I was supposed to guide you, but I got caught up in a romance novel." She handed him a key replenishing pill. "Take this. It will help with your recovery." Jinshin accepted it with feigned humility, but was thrilled about getting another freebie. "Can't complain about this." Gongyue continued, "It's my fault for being late. Please don't blame yourself." Jinshin reassured her, "No need to blame yourself. I should have been more careful." Touched by his words, Gongyue's favorability increased by 5 points, reaching 20, casual. She then handed him a spirit-gathering jade pendant. "This is a small token of my apology. It boosts your defense by 10, heart protection by 5, and recovers 1% of mana every second when not in combat." It also has a skill, Spirit Shield, that blocks attacks from enemies below the crystallization stage. It has a 15-minute cooldown. Jinshin expressed his gratitude. This pendant is amazing, especially the Spirit Shield. It's a rare find even among spiritual-grade equipment. Ganyue shrugged. It's nothing special. I have plenty of treasures like it. Ganyue informed Jinshin. We should head to your residence now. All your basic beginner equipment is there. Jinshin thanked her and thought, it's a good thing I know how to play my cards right. If not for my acting skills, I wouldn't have scored so many treasures right after joining the sect. Treating NPCs like real people is the way to go, but only a returner like me knows that. A few minutes later, Ganyue led him to the Earth-grade Spirit Gathering Formation. You can absorb spiritual energy much faster here if you meditate. I'm a bit envious. We only have a mystical grade formation on my side. Jinshin marveled at the setup. Normally, new players would just find a quiet spot to meditate offline. But this Earth-grade formation is a game changer. I didn't expect such a high-tier setup for my residence. With her mission complete, Ganyue waved goodbye. Work hard and make the most of it. Jinshin began his meditation in the formation. His speed increased by 52 points per hour, more than 10 times faster than normal at the key refining stage. With this rate, even if I'm away for 3 hours, I can max out my cultivation. Knowing his master would visit at dawn, he decided to log off for now. As he checked his phone, he saw that the deposit had been successfully made. 1.6 million yuan in just 5 hours. I can finally turn my tragic fate around in this life. With a smile, Jinshin felt a surge of optimism about his new opportunities.